I'm Isabel Squire.
I'm MNR. Oh, no, I'm MNR.
We
I'm
got so many
MNR.
MNRs because MNR is the
No,
greatest.
we can't. If you're MNR, then I'll have to be Bill is alive, which means I'm not using someone else's name. Okay, sure. I'm Cherry Flavor. I don't like berries. Yes, that's what she says.
Almost. All right. So, the first topic. Oh, do I have to do voices, or should I do voices? Should I not do voices?
You can do intonations.
But then, what kind of voices
Oh,
am I
wait.
supposed to do?
You can't hear us again? No.
Can't hear us.
No, the audio's there. Sorry. I think it's just maybe it's just a delay.
Is there a delay?
I think it's fine. Hello.
Hello.
I can move my mouth more. This way, I know if I'm talking right.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine.
All
Yes,
right.
thanks.
Take
Thanks,
it away,
Megadusty.
MNR.
All right. So, am I the asshole for withdrawing my clothes donation to a charity shop after the manager was rude to me? So, had yesterday and today off work and decided to clear out my wardrobe. Ended up with a big bag of jumpers, shirts. So British jumpers are sweaters. Just as an FYI, this is clearly a British or Australian person, or it's a kangaroo. And a few pair of jeans. I called the charity shop yesterday and asked if they were accepting donations and spoke to a lovely lady who said that her manager would be in tomorrow, today, and I could bring them in the afternoon. So I headed there around 2 p.m. and walked in the door and said that I had a donation. The lady looked at me and said, "Washed items only." No hello or anything. I replied saying that they were all washed, and she responded with, "Makes a change. Men don't normally know how to work a washing machine." I kind of stood in shock, and she asked if she could take a look. She opened the bag. I had folded them, but I don't have a car, so I had to carry the bag into town. So a few had unraveled. Looked at me and said, "I guess folding them was a step too far, huh?" At this point, I got pissed off and just said, "Know what? Leave it. I'm taking them home with me," because that's my voice now. She mentioned that it's not her working day, but came in especially for me and asked why I had wasted her time. I replied stating that she had not had she not been so rude, it would have been a waste of time. So now I've got this big bag of clothes here. I'm not sure what to do with. I'm not sure whether to take them in anyway and swallow my pride, as the charity is the one I value greatly. Alternatively, I can see if there's another one who'll pick them up. That's the only one on walking distance. Really pissed me off. I'm on my phone, so sorry for formatting. Actually, that was some of the best formatting I've seen in any of these Am I the Assholes.
Agreed, yeah.
So I guess TLDR, they brought in some stuff. She was being quite nasty about the kind of formatting of the clothes, as it were. And now they seem embarrassed to actually take them in. Is that right?
No. She's not embarrassed to take them in. He was pissed and he decided not to donate them. I think the manager's an asshole. I don't think necessarily that this guy's an asshole, although if I was there, I would have just left the clothes and then just forget about the manager. But yeah, I think the manager's an asshole. This guy just got a bit upset. I don't think he's an asshole as such, but I think he should learn to ignore people better sometimes.
Speaking from experience. Because I am mean to you. And Isabel's mean to you.
I'm not mean to Billy. I am so nice. What do you mean?
Generally, you both are nice to me. Generally.
Bill has a funny looking face.
So
see, he ignores it.
All right, MNR, what do you think? What's the
That's
verdict?
really sexist. I know how to use a washing machine, and I'm clearly possibly a man.
Quite clearly.
Possibly.
Well, I mean, she was rude, but at the same
Very
time,
rude.
like, does it matter?
I don't know. What do you think?
I'm just confused at the why. Oh, it's just because it's withdrawing the clothes from the charity shop. Yeah, I don't know. The manager isn't anything to do with the charity, I guess, but at the same time, well, unless the manager is, but they put them in a really crappy situation. The manager's clearly an asshole. I don't see any reason why. Like, you're not an asshole for not donating your clothes to a particular charity shop. There's like no way you could be. You absolutely do not have to donate your clothes in the first place. You could just bundle them all up into a pile and watch them grow a new creature within. As long as you spray it with water on occasion. But I don't see any reason why it would make them an asshole for not donating them.
I think it's just the perception, right? It's sort of like, it's a good cause. Why are you taking it away from a good cause, regardless of whether or not the... And you did mention, like, again, there is that separation between the manager and the charity in itself. So perhaps the idea is behind, hey, you know, like, you're doing this for a good cause, regardless of whether or not she was rude to you. Maybe you should have just left it behind.
Well, he's already better than 90% of the people out there by donating and having donated previously to this charity, right? Because he said that he supports this, so he donates it. And it's not like he's no longer donating the clothes. He's just trying to look for another place to donate the clothes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yep.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say no. I don't see any way you could possibly say that that person is the asshole.
Yeah, but I guess he felt guilty about it enough to, like, post.
Yes,
Yeah.
which makes him not an asshole, actually.
Unless it makes them the asshole just in order to get points, because it's an easy win.
That's not the question, though.
I don't know. Am I the asshole for posting about withdrawing my clothes? See, it'd be different if it was just for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Can't just make assumptions.
We can all make
Random
assumptions.
accusations.
All right, let's move to the next one. Amara, take it away.
What is the next one? Is that the not inviting my friend one? There it is. Okay. Click. Okay. Am I the asshole for not inviting my friend to something because she always brings her husband?
Damn.
I mean, I almost feel in this one already. I feel there's a whole thing, but we'll get into it. So, ever since my friend got engaged and later married, her husband comes with her everywhere. In the beginning, it didn't seem weird, but she mentioned something about a girls' night, and when we'd show up there, he'd be there. Friends would have birthday parties where none of our partners were invited, and it was just the girls. And she'd bring him. And I am now aware that I am one of the just the girls with this voice. But I'm going to continue with it.
I was about to say, oh my gosh.
We tried to talk to her about it. But she says, it's just how they are as a couple. They like to do things together. There have been a few occasions where he won't come, but that's because he's working. It got to the point where we tried to plan events around his work schedule. It's the same every week, but eventually that became impossible. We haven't gotten together much over the past year because of the pandemic, but
Ghost?
recently our favorite bar reopened with patio seating. A bunch of us wanted to go, but the only night that worked for us was a time when friend's husband wasn't working. It meant he'd come. So we chose not to include her in these plans and went out, having a great time. We could bitch about whatever. There wasn't someone awkwardly hanging over us. It was the girls' night we needed. One of the people in our group posted a picture on Instagram, and our friend who wasn't invited saw it. She got upset that she wasn't invited and was asking why. We knew she was free, etc. No one wanted to own up to it, and I said, because we wanted a girls' night, not a girls' night plus your husband. She got more hurt and accused us of not liking her husband. I said that was not true. He is a cool guy, but sometimes we just wanted to be with us girls. Some of us are married, and we don't drag our husbands into every event. She stopped responding to the group chat and hasn't spoken to me since. I'm now wondering if we're being mean and if I was too hard on her. Am I the asshole?
Dun dun dun.
This is
Nah, I'm
I
not
mean
saying
it's
that's
no, yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, they did try to tell her about the husband thing, and she kind of, yeah. So yeah, I mean, they did tell her about it first, but she refused to make any changes. So yeah, I don't think the poster is an asshole.
Isabel.
Yes, Isabel.
I personally would agree, and I am trying to think of devil's advocate behind this.
advocate.
Attachment theory, association with her husband. Perhaps there was some background about, concerns about whether her friends would like her husband, but at the same time, it's still like it's girls' night.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a break.
Yeah.
So, tried devil's advocate, didn't work.
Oh, if you want to go for that, maybe she doesn't feel safe enough because of a past experience, and she needs her big burly husband who has a voice more like this compared to her voice. But still,
Yeah.
maybe she just really, 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 really likes him.
I mean, like, realistically speaking, it's also on him. Like, read the room. The entire, like, unless they personally invite him, it's sort of like, just let them be.
Yeah.
Especially depends, right? If the other people aren't married and, aren't bringing up the husbands to begin with.
Yeah, but you're making assumptions here, right? Maybe the girl's like, oh, don't worry about it. Just come with me, So I don't think you can blame the husband. I think if the girl told the husband that, hey, I want to have a girls' night, maybe he'll just be like, okay, sure, that's fine. Go ahead, right?
I think he should have awareness despite his spouse saying it'd be okay, And
yeah,
that's
maybe he does.
part of the
maybe
reading
he does.
the room part of it.
Maybe he does, and maybe the wife said, it's okay, don't worry about it. Come anyway. We don't know. We're making assumptions. I think that's irrelevant.
I want to play on the side here that men are stupid, and that if your wife, or at least in my experience with girlfriend says that something is okay in a social thing, the men will generally believe it, especially if the girl is more in charge and in the inner circle of it. Like the guy might just feel, oh yeah, I don't feel this is right, and she just says, no, you gotta stay. I'm like, okay, then.
Exactly.
I don't think it's his fault, but well, maybe a little bit.
Right. Mega's saying something. They spoke with her before, so she's definitely not the asshole. If they wouldn't try to speak, then it would be rude. I agree. I also know such a couple, and they have their relationship trio. That's okay, but they aren't just a prior. I guess prior to circles, that's okay, but they aren't just invited every time. But they're fine with it. Yeah, they just have to be cool with it. I think. She has to be cool that if she always needs to bring her husband, then she won't be invited to like girls' nights where it's all girls. Yeah.
Yep, it's one or the other. You can't have everything.
Yep.
I just stuck my finger in my coffee.
Yeah.
At least it's not like your whiskey cap.
If we really want to delve into it, and not so much the issue, but how it was potentially treated, then perhaps she felt like the one with the husband was blindsided by that, because she didn't find out until she saw on Instagram about it, right? And even when she was asking, no one owned up to it until later on. Meaning that, I don't know.
Well, maybe they were just trying to spare her like feelings, I guess, instead of saying, "Oh, hey, we're having a girls' night, but we're not inviting you." They're just kind of like, hopefully she doesn't notice. I don't know. I have no idea.
Then you wouldn't post it on Instagram. Like, you know your friends on Instagram. Like, I don't know.
Like, because I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't know, like, if you have like girls' nights where you kind of you don't like someone in your group for whatever reason, and you're like, you know what, let's not invite her this time. Do you ever do that? Or
wow, that sounds like a personal attack there, Billy. What's this interrogation, real quick?
No, just because like I've never had anything like that, right? I don't have, oh hey guys, let's hang out, but let's not invite this person because I don't like him. because he brings his girlfriend every time. You know, I've never had that
Actually,
experience.
we've done that a whole bunch of times.
You have?
No, we have in the video game nights.
It's not me. I haven't
not
done
us.
it.
Us, you and I have not done it, but we know of people who will do it.
Yes.
I
Not
mean,
necessarily
I've
because they're
seen
not
it
liking, but
happen.
for reasons.
And for that reason, I'm a little more skeptical of whether the message was actually taken seriously. Because otherwise, you know, maybe it wouldn't have been such a shock to her to be like, hey, you know, like she wouldn't be as hurt and accusing her of like not liking her husband. It would be an evidently, oh, it's because I brought my husband, that's why you didn't, you know.
Well, they said they
invite
talked
me.
to her about it, right?
But you know how in talk to her and then afterwards it's sort of like grazed over, danced around the topic, and it's like, yeah, we spoke to her about it, but not really.
So I guess it
Because
depends
I
on
think-
how direct they are with her. Yeah.
I think I don't think she really got the message, and I feel like there's a bit of guilt of no one owning up to it until like one person was like, all right, I'll tell her, sort of thing.
Yeah, there could be that. There could be that for sure. Oh,
But yeah, again, like extrapolation, maybe that wasn't the
Yeah.
case. Maybe like the lady with the husband was really just that oblivious. Who knows? I mean, provided that it was in the first scenario, I would say kind of mini asshole and just like, or you know, maybe all people suck sort of situation versus
People
like
do suck.
assholes.
no, I don't think it's I don't think the girl sucks, you know. She just has to be cool with not being invited to girls only nights. I don't think she's an asshole herself for wanting her husband to be there when she's hanging out with her friends. But if it's
I don't think that part specifically is the asshole. It's more of like how it was handled. Right? In the sense where like if we're going by the first assumption saying that, you know, maybe she danced around the topic and even though she claimed to have spoken to her about it, maybe the message wasn't very clear. I think there's a lot of misunderstandings half the time. So maybe from her point of view, it's like, hey, you know, I made it clear that I didn't really want your husband around during girls' night. Whereas to her, it could have been like, oh, she's just joking. She loves my husband and the time that we spend together.
so maybe she's just an idiot. I don't know.
Maybe
she's just an
like
idiot.
that's what I mean. Like maybe all people suck in this scenario. Like it's just, you know, it's
It
a
doesn't mean
sucky
they
scenario.
suck. It doesn't mean they suck. It's just like maybe she just didn't get it, you know? I don't know.
Or maybe she said it with a giggle and tee hee. Like, you know, you never know when someone's trolling. You never know when people are joking. Everyone has like a different brand of humor.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, I guess as with everything, we don't have enough information. But depending
right, so
on
that's why I meant like in the first scenario, it's more of like, you know, the situation sucks. And maybe there's like better communication. On the second hand, it's sort of like, you're not the asshole, just you have a sensitive friend, but you kind of chose that friend, so deal with it.
So if we just go with what the OP says, I think it's not the asshole. But if we say that if they beat around the bush and didn't really tell them directly, then they're the asshole. But maybe not. Even then, maybe not. Right? I don't know. Even then, maybe they're not the asshole. It's just it's just poor communication, maybe, and things like that. I don't think anyone's an asshole here necessarily.
But yeah, they do sound terribly codependent.
Very icky. Very icky.
Maybe they're still in their honeymoon phase. Who knows?
It sounds like it's been going on for a while. Been in a honeymoon phase for too long.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know why. There may be an exception for gay guys, but definitely not a partner. Huh. And I guess everyone's going into the romantically, sexually attraction portion of it.
What?
In the sense where like, oh, maybe like, so some of the comments seem to allude to, hey, if it's like would there be a difference between a lesbian couple versus like a gay couple, you know, and bringing your partner then? Because technically if it's a lesbian couple, everyone's female, right?
Yeah. So it's girls' night is still technically girls' night,
right?
But Hmm.
Oh wait, there's a comment from Megadesty. This is a good meta question, even for the whole AITA thing. Isn't it that a standard poster of such a AITA question wants to get a no as an answer in general for soothing the conscience or whatever? So of course you'll write that you spoke with her before to make it look like they tried everything. But is it actually true? Nobody knows. That is true. But we have gone through some posts where people say that the poster is an asshole. So
I think
but
he
yes,
means
I think
in majority,
They're
right?
rarer though.
yes, I think there's definitely going to be a bias towards not the asshole because otherwise you probably wouldn't ask unless
Also,
you're confident. Yeah.
the other people who are reading it will occasionally ask questions, and the original poster will answer them, and it will then highlight how much of an asshole the original poster actually is in the edits sometimes, or not actually in the edits. We find some there that they don't look like the asshole at all until we read further down. They're like, "Whoa, you didn't tell me about that."
Yes, yes. So maybe were there any questions like that here where they asked for more information about how the message was delivered?
Nothing
Nope.
highlighted, I don't think.
There's no edits or anything anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the big ones are normally like up at top, right?
Yep.
Or like someone's find something really blaringly devious.
Yeah, I think the biggest one was really in terms of like whether sexual orientation makes a difference here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is it a girls' night or a close friends' night?
Yeah, fair. Fair.
I mean, you could call close friends' night a girls' night.
Could be both. All right, next one.
I don't even know what that means. Would I be the asshole?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay, right. Because what I find there during the middle of that, someone moved all the stuff in the OneNote, and now I don't know where I am. But I think I found it. Would I be the asshole if I didn't pay for my daughter's college funds? So, my daughter is set on going to university, and that isn't exactly within our budget. We also have a great state college that meets our budgets, but I understand if she doesn't want to go. Now she can go, but I told her that I won't be paying for it myself, and that she'd have to take out loans and eventually pay some of that money back to me. Now that was set, I thought our problem was over. She told me that she'd like to major in history of the arts, not minor, major. I tried to convince her to minor, but she is fixated on majoring in it. I've researched this major. It doesn't give out many jobs, and it's not the best major. I don't feel like dropping $37K a year to have her major in art history. Again, she can major in art history. Go to the school she wants to, but it doesn't mean that I have to pay for it. After I told her this, she thinks it's unfair and practically threw a tantrum. Am I being unreasonable? I'm not barring her from attending. I just don't feel obligated to pay that much for that major, especially if there's a huge chance it won't be enough to suffice her debt. He said major too many times. He is an asshole, but not because of anything else.
Damn.
That's a complicated one in my mind, actually. I don't think that's an easy yes or no right there.
I mean, realistically speaking, I don't think he's the asshole.
We all know who the real asshole is here. The universities.
I mean, yeah, especially if we're talking about a U.S. sense, but actually, I don't think that is. Is that a U.S.?
The universities. $37K? I've heard of people paying that much here as well.
For art history, though?
If you're coming from another country.
Oh, yeah, international students, I guess.
It's a bloody fortune for international.
Yeah.
37K a year for a major in art history. Holy smokes, that's a lot of money.
I know, you get Wikipedia most of that. No joke.
I don't know. I think the daughter has a sense of entitlement. I understand pursuing your passions and dreams, but there's also, realistically speaking, what can you do with it? Right? And if you're expecting someone else to pay for it, is that really reasonable? Especially when they're willing to even make you a deal by saying, hey, maybe don't major in it, let's minor in it.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically speaking, I'm like, and the concerns are real. One is the accumulation of debt. Two is the prospects of jobs in the future. Three, And I think that's not always the case, but it's sort of like, you know, you might not be the best gauge of your own ability. Not to say that parents are the best in assessing it, but they probably, you know, have raised you for so long. They have a better understanding of your personality and your habits. If they don't think you can make it, is there a reason why?
This brings me back to my old argument I like bringing up of 18, stupid. Possibly not 18, but you know, younger enough to be classified as not really knowing like what they want. I mean, to be fair, we still don't know what we want, but we definitely know that back then we definitely didn't know what we wanted.
Yeah.
I don't think the poster is an asshole. Yeah.
Mega
But
says,
Mega does say,
you have a very interesting format here. Congrats, but it's 2 a.m. for me and I'm yawning every minute, so have a good rest of your stream and hugs to Tabby. Thank you, Mega. Have a good night.
Oh, wow,
I'm actually bringing in Tabby tomorrow, so you'll probably see her next time. Yeah.
Am I allowed to say how much I dislike universities in general these days? Or
yeah.
Are you only talking about private universities or universities in general?
In general, I think they're still like making a lot out of it, right?
Oh, really?
They're especially making a lot of money this year.
Yeah.
Like their
For what
overhead
they're
is
offering
so much.
too, it's like ridiculous.
Yeah. Either their overhead,
very low
overhead is lower, or it should be drastically lower, and they are just screwing around with that because I know how these places operate. Being that I background information that I'm not saying, but anyway, not that I was down at one underground.
But even then, like if you look at the student debt that you've accumulated, what were they charging you for? They were charging you for a pool that you probably never used. They were charging you for like, you know, this student council fee that you don't even give two craps about.
Yeah.
Like they're leeching every single cent that they could possibly think of, and it was on you, the onus was on you to opt out of it.
Yep. Like I believe a lot of things there that are university like courses should not be university courses, and the fact that employers require you to have a degree in a lot of stuff is so wrong in my eyes. Like as an engineer, I don't believe we need a university to teach you 5 years of engineering before you join. 1 year is more than enough if you need it at all, just to get a very basic background, because on-the-job learning counts for like 1 year on the job is more important than 3 years in university, easily. Plus, it gets out of date so quickly for most engineering; it's ridiculous. And it's the same for a lot of courses, and that's one that you would consider useful. Like you know, art history is very useful, I'm sure.
But I think that's like a lot of theory based, and it's just sort of trying to cram like how many years of art history into.
But it comes down to there has to be a better way, and I'm sure there is. There's so many online courses there that aren't charging you $37,000. Like if you went on to somewhere for an online course, like just a straight up course, not like a full degree or whatever, but you were learning the same stuff. It's just that you just don't have the piece of paper at the end or whatever. Like if you're just going for learning, that's great. But, you know, if you need that paper for a job, but you know as much as the person who has that paper, but you just spent a lot less, like, I don't understand it.
I totally agree with you. And I think there are some fields you can get into that would let you do that. Like, I think, for example, if you want to go into, you know, drafting, you can just take like a few courses in AutoCAD or Revit or whatever, I think, from like a college, and, you know, and have like a small certificate and just, you know, start looking for work. But I agree, for certain things, they do expect a lot more from you than you actually need. And I think our field is one of them. Probably certain fields like, you know, becoming a doctor and things like that is probably different. But yeah, I agree with you generally.
Mega Destiny makes a good point there. If Mega Destiny is still on, about basically corporations working with the university. So like the integrated degree programs and stuff, where the corporation can pay the university's fees, and it's a win-win-win. That is the case in some things. It's not in all. I know of internships that don't get paid, or just basically get paid like minimum wage stuff. During my one, and this is back in the UK, of course, where it's it was cheaper in my university because I was in a very small country there. Like I got paid placement year, but I still paid half the university fees, which I'm not sure what those fees were for still, because I had like one assessment at the end, and that assessment was certainly not, a few $1,000s. So, but yeah, there are some good things in there, but at the same time, like if you were just doing on the job working, and like you shouldn't be paying that much to begin with. Like it's ridiculous. That's my problem with universities. It's the amount you're paying for what you're getting out of it. I just don't feel you're getting enough out of it, and especially not when you're considering a 5-year course. Like I know a lot of these things take a long time to learn, but I don't understand 5 years for a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is it's like a business, right? And I'm sure, like, the universities lobby for things like, accreditation and all that kind of stuff so that they can.
It's completely a business.
It's completely a business.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, it's like any other business, right?
And I agree with it for certain things. Like a lot of research coming out of universities is good, but at the same time, the private sector does even more research. But you've got the problem of it being privatized and very much profit based then for that company. Whereas the university might be spreading out, but they often also work with particular companies. So it's not, universities are private anyway. It's not like they're government.
I wonder, realistically speaking, what the outline of their budget would look like.
Yeah, I wonder.
Because
I know I'm not gonna say any more on that side. I'm not allowed.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, yes, funding of research, yes, professor, salaries, but at the end of the day, like, they also claim that, like, your part of your tuition is subsidized by sponsors and alumni and all that sort of thing. And I'm like, so why are we paying?
So in one of my universities back in the UK that I know of, I know that their lighting bill was 600,000 Canadian dollars a year.
What?
Okay.
Yeah. And this is like one big campus for up to 30,000 people, which is a really small university. Like this was one of the smallest ones in the UK, pretty much. Okay, not smallest, but it's not that big. And like $600,000 on, and this is I guess back 10 years ago or so. So LED lights weren't as much and all that. They weren't being used back then so much, but still, they were still paying out that much money on lighting only, not all electricity, only lighting.
Yeah.
I can see that kind of stuff being the case everywhere. It's just like wasted money, and yeah, you can trim it back and all, but I just wonder then. It's not on an individual university basis. Like they're all doing it. They just all get this. Oh yeah, we'll just put our prices up constantly. But I think they're very beneficial for a lot of things, but I don't think they're necessary for even more. Unless you're going for purely learning, but in that case, it should just be cheaper. Oh yeah, this guy I don't think is the asshole because of everything.
Yeah, that definitely our tangent went way around, but yeah, I don't think he's the asshole either.
I also agree, but I'm curious to see why he was branded as the asshole by Reddit.
Yeah.
So one person says, honestly, yeah, I think you're the asshole. You can do whatever you want with your money, of course, but either fund a certain amount of education or don't. I think stipulations like grade and attendance are fine, but major? That seems petty. Like, let's be real, most kids change majors, many that don't work in an unrelated field. Life will bring what it will bring, help set her up for success.
See,
this person's crazy.
There's another thing for
fuck?
how badly the university system's set up. Like, if you're going to be changing your majors or you don't even need it for what you're doing, why even bother going? It's just so you can say you've got a degree, which is ridiculous.
I feel like if it's not that expensive, I would agree with this comment. But seeing it as it's $37,000 a year, that's insane.
No, like no.
Like how many times are you paying rent in that same period? Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, You have to pay for rent in addition to the tuition
Like,
fees. Yeah.
how many years of rent is that? You know, I'm not gonna say how many years of rent that is for me, but just multiplying it all out in my head, it's disgusting. I couldn't afford that on my salary right now. And I've been graduated for 8 years and I'm in a good job.
That's just extortion. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also, he brings in we also have a great state college that meets our budget, but I understand if she doesn't want to go. So you're being like, it's kind of like beggars being choosers sort of thing.
Mhm.
Like, you can't badger your parents to expect to take on this like tumultuous debt for your sake because you want to be, I don't know, out of state and you decide to be an art major. Like, he has every right to refuse, and whether his conditional offer of like paying for your college tuition is changing your major, like, you know, what the hell?
I want to say art and knowing the history of it and everything is actually really important. Just not important for that money.
Yeah.
That goes for practically anything in my mind.
And
nothing is that important.
And I mean, it's not like he's denying her the college experience, because what I'm skimming from these comments are that, hey, you know, she's probably gonna change her major, and there's a lot of other useful skills that she'll pick up there.
Then pick a different major then.
Exactly, pick a major. It's like,
what's
what?
the problem here?
I think these people are hung up on just the major part and not so much how much it costs for that particular major or that particular university.
Maybe they're so indoctrinated into the system they don't realize that they could have it better. Like, there are countries that have free university.
Yeah.
A few countries have free university.
But I feel like the commenters are ignoring the fact that it's $37,000 a year for this major.
Yeah.
Where you are likely not going to make much. Why are you investing that much for a major you're probably not gonna get much return on investment of, right? Like, if you're saying that I'm gonna study to be a doctor or a lawyer or something that's really, really high paying, and like, okay, sure, pay a little bit more for the education, but you're more certain of getting a payback, then probably, maybe, right? I think that's the dad's logic. But in this case, because of the crazy fees and the likelihood that you will never get that money back, I think it's perfectly reasonable. And I think people are just not focusing on that. They're just focusing on the fact that you want to tell her what she wants to do. Or daughter, right? It's a daughter, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're just focusing on that and not focusing on like the money aspect, which is unrealistic.
So, okay, interesting hot take here is that, you know, maybe one of them is saying that, hey, maybe the dad is too hung up on traditional fields of what defines success. And
art history is a super traditional field.
In the sense where it's like, you know, it's not going to be a stable job. You're going to have to look a lot harder. It's not going to be like an engineering degree. It's not like an accounting degree. Like, you know, it just doesn't drop as frequently compared to an art history degree, which is very specific, right? But okay, this comment here really raised a lot of questions for me, because it says, wait, why would she have to pay you back the money to you if she goes to her dream school? Yes, the asshole, not for being unwilling and unable to fund all of her education, but for putting stipulations based on your own value system. Art history is a valuable major, and you have no idea what she'll be able to do after. Because if he's paying for her education, then yes, pay your father back. Like, what?
Yeah, these people are too hung up on the degree itself. It's not just about that. It's the money that you're putting in, and I don't think these people are getting it.
I don't know anyone who's had their parents pay for university and they ever plan to pay their parents back.
Like, whether it's okay, so I'm not saying like, hey, maybe your parents are like, you don't have to pay me back the full amount, but you know, like $37 a year, like, what is your parents made of money? Like, even if they're millionaires, right?
I mean,
let's put that out there. Like, even if they're millionaires, it's still sort of like, hey, it's not really your education because someone else was funding you.
Yeah, that's coming down to the choice thing there that she has, like, she doesn't really get the full say in it unless she's paying for it herself. This would be completely different if she was going to go pay for it herself. It's not like she's forbidding her. It looks like he's okay with her just doing university, but just he doesn't want to pay for it if that's the main thing that she's doing. Like, it doesn't sound like he is against her actually doing this, but he wants her to pay for it herself. And then, you know, she'll benefit out of that in a way, but not in a monetary way. She will be very much poorer.
And like it sounds like he would probably be okay to help her, or he doesn't even need to help her if she goes to like the local college, right? It's just she's being really, really picky about everything. She wants to have her cake and eat it too. I know you hate that saying, Mark. Oh, sorry, Emina.
It's because it doesn't make any sense. Everyone wants cake and eating it. Why would you want cake and not eat it? It makes no sense. What you should say is she cannot have everything.
Pontifical says, no free universities here. Art history, my parents would whip me if I did art history. I agree. But I mean, that's more of different mindset values. But at the end of the day, like, I don't think that's truly the issue here. It's more of like the parent not finding the true value of having to pay 70K, 37K a year for, you know, something that he doesn't believe his kid would find success in, right?
Wait, who said that?
Being a good parent right there.
Yeah.
Maybe she really sucks at art as well.
Sorry, who made the comment?
About
Pontifical.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to hear Isabel say it because I heard she had trouble pronouncing his. Okay,
what
never mind.
No, you said pontificial. I heard it before.
See, I copied you because you made a certain cadence and I followed through.
I'm sorry if I am not the silly one who just copies what other people say.
Hey, you know, I believed in you and now I feel disillusioned and upset.
Yeah, you shouldn't have believed. That was your mistake.
Yeah, that was totally my bad.
Last week's thing.
You know, it wasn't you that started calling him incorrect names and like.
You're right.
My naivety. Shame. Anyways, there is a comment that seems to have reason. It says, not the asshole. Sorry, I agree with you. We saved X amount for each kid and said to them if they choose a college more than X amount, the extra is on you. Also, you need to major in something practical. Feel free to minor in something less practical. Example, a friend's son majored in engineering and minored in theater. He has a great engineering job and does theater stuff at night on the weekends. My eldest kid is majoring in something practical and minoring in something very different from their major, but that will be complementary. They chose the most expensive offer, but have been working and saving for years, so it will be able to cover the excess after scholarships. No point throwing away good money if they end up living back home unable to support themselves. Harsh but true.
Yep. This is the first commenter that seems to make sense.
Someone who doesn't just live on Reddit, perhaps.
Someone retorts by saying he wasn't going to give her any money at all. He was willing to pay for a cheaper in-state school and not put out money for the more expensive one. It'd be better if he had set an amount of money and gave it to her for her to make up the rest, like you said, but he stated he wasn't going to shell out any money at all. Wait, was that what he said? This
person's crazy. I mean, it would be nice if they did that, but you know, you don't know what their circumstances are, right? So
maybe I don't want children.
Maybe.
Now, okay, so his last comment saying, now she can go, with referencing to the out-of-state one, more expensive, but I told her I wouldn't be paying for it myself, and that I think the wouldn't be paying for it myself would be like he wouldn't be paying for all of it himself.
Yeah.
Not so much that he's not going to help there.
Take out loans and eventually pay some of that money back to me.
Yeah.
Some of that money, yeah.
And it's also like, hey, like, you know, if she's taking out loans and she's not able to make the payment, then like he's probably one shelving out the money, meaning that it's just more of a delayed loan for her. So if he wants her to pay her like him back for that, that's totally within reason as well.
Someone who pays for their own expenses and knows how expensive children are. Are you talking about MNR? Or
No,
Wait, how many kids are
is
you
talking-
hiding?
Me?
oh, the one who the
None
commenter.
in,
Yes.
none in here. Yeah. Talk about the commenter.
Someone adds, I was with you until you said they needed to major in something practical. It's horrible to try and tell anyone, let alone your own kid, how to spend their lives. You should be helping them find out what their passion is and then find a way to make that pay. Anything else is a recipe for a miserable life. I had an ex who was a gifted guitar player, but who was never going to make it big in a band. He's now a music therapist, helps many people by harnessing his passion. And my uncle who died from COVID last year was primarily an actor. Did he make a Hollywood movie? No. He taught drama at our local college and helped a lot of deprived kids believe they could aspire to something other than dead-end jobs. Many went on to top drama schools. We have hundreds of people play tribute to him and when he died, including quite a well-known face from TV in my country. Oh, and he left a sizable estate. The vast majority of it went to his charity, a life well lived.
Oh, well and good, but I bet they weren't paying $37,000 a year to learn that stuff.
Yeah, like, realistically
it's different,
speaking.
you know.
Dude, like,
But that's
get
the
a
thing,
Udemy
like,
course for like $15.
You
Do
don't
that, like,
need a
once month.
major for it, right? Like,
exactly.
a lot of it, like, he was like, hey, you can minor in it, no problem. And she could spend that extra time doing, like, extra whatever it was to kind of amount to her passion and her dreams. Like, I don't understand why it had to be a major.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, totally.
Pontifical is right here. In reality, education is a privilege, not a right. I believe it should be a right, but it is ridiculous how just disgustingly expensive it is. There's so many talented people out there who can't do what they want because of money.
Yeah.
And that's disgusting. And there's so many people who have money who are just doing stuff that is useless to everyone, including themselves.
Yeah. And, like, who knows?
Because it's there,
like,
and it's up for offer. And I think if a lot of that stuff wasn't up for offer.
And, like, imagine how shitty it would be if you're paying $37K and she changes majors.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that, like,
In this case, it
but
would
what
be good,
if she goes and studies, like, oh, bless you.
Excuse me.
What if she goes and studies, like, engineering or something, and then you're paying $37K and she changes her major as well? Like, that would be even worse.
Okay, but
right?
here's the thing. What if she went to that school
stop paying it,
because it
probably.
majored in art major, you know? Like, its specialization was in art major.
Yeah, that's
and you
true. It
you
could
go
be.
through all these hoops and then you pay the $37 and she doesn't even utilize it. So it's sort of like, just go to your state cheaper school then.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Long story short, don't have kids.
Yeah, let's tear down the government, tear down the system, make sure that we don't actually need to have degrees to get jobs, and that will break it all down. Take away their power, and they have nothing left.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, especially for art, like some people are saying, you don't really necessarily need a degree for art history.
Yeah, like I don't know. We know some artists, but I don't know.
But they don't.
I know they don't have the most enthusiastic outlook on the degree system either for it. So
there you go. It's just not. Yeah, it's not worth it for that. Anyways, I think we disagree with Reddit.
Yeah.
we always
Which is surprising because I think this is the first time we disagree with Reddit.
Second time actually.
Second?
We did disagree once as a maybe not completely all of us, but quite heavily.
Was it the washroom one?
I don't think it was. Well, Bill and I did disagree with that one actually as well. So maybe it was that. Maybe it was that one as well. Maybe this is the third time.
Maybe.
Pontifical says, true moral of the story, don't have kids, kids are expensive. Yes. Very true. Very true. And thanks, Jimothy.
All right,
last one?
Moving on to the next one.
Moving on. Am I the asshole for refusing to cook vegan for my eldest daughter all the time?
Oh, this sounds very similar to one we had before.
Oh, I wanted a goblin voice now, but not sure goblin works well with vegan. Wait, but the daughter's vegan. Maybe goblin's too annoying though. I don't know. My 45 partner. 27. Wait, my 45 female partner.
No,
I'm
they're the
47.
45.
Me? I'm 45 female. They are 47 male. And I have 3 children.
Oh, man.
Daughter, who's 15 female, and 2 sons who are 12 M and 9 male. And the daughter was recently decided that she wants to be vegan. And she's 15, female, vegan. The rest of my family, including myself, enjoy being omnivores. We like to walk around and call ourselves omnivores. My partner works full-time and I work part-time, and I am pursuing a second bachelor's at adult age at $37,000 a year.
What,
Combined
really?
with no. Combined with 3 kids, we're busy. Also, getting to 3 kids, busy. As I've also cut work hours to be able to study again, our income has somewhat declined. In this light, my partner and I are not really happy with this development. Having to have at least somewhat healthy, balanced meal for 5 people daily already is somewhat of a chore, and we're on a budget. Neither in terms of time management nor money do I feel like essentially cooking 2 meals daily is not reasonable to ask. I said all that wrong, probably. Adding to that, vegan cuisine just requires a different approach to cooking, different ingredients, etc. Frankly, with all the things going on right now, it's not high on my priority list to relearn how to cook. If I would just buy extra vegan food for her, it would certainly dent the budget. I have offered her a compromise, or I offered that we would make a meat/fish. We're gonna make a meat/fish and a vegetarian, not vegan version of each dish. That way, she would not have to eat meat, at least. But we could keep cooking many of the dishes that we already do without much added effort. Much like what Isabel said the other week that we talked about this. I disagree. Additionally, I said I'd be willing to have one vegan day where she can experiment with making vegan dishes for us all. Then, if she's 18 and has her own budget and still feels that way, she can buy the food with her own budget and cook for herself. Do we want edit or not edit? No edit?
Let's talk before I edit.
I feel like the poster's not an asshole.
Same.
I don't remember anything I said because of the voice. So.
The voice made me want to say he's an asshole, but the words made me want to say
the
that
actual
he's not an
content
asshole.
was like, nah. Yeah, no, I think she offered a real decent compromise, right? At the end of the day, like, unless it's an indication of, like, you know, she's vegan because of health issues, then I can be a little more understanding about it. But at the same time, if it's just because, you know, she's made a decision, then it's like, okay, maybe go vegetarian, as she says. We're tight on a budget. Like, it's going to take a lot more time and effort in order to prepare it. And then you can have your vegan day where you can experiment and make the vegan dishes for us all, right? I thought that was pretty fair.
Wait, how did the daughter react? She got very angry. Oh wait, sorry, it's under the edits. Never mind. Yeah, because that's an important part, right? Like, how did the daughter react? I feel like they're not the asshole because, like you said, they've offered like a very reasonable compromise with, like, you know, vegetarian meals on the side. Maybe not vegan if they cook it with the same utensils or whatever. But yeah, that's a very reasonable compromise. Being vegan, I don't think is a medical thing. It's just a
it sounds like a decision that the daughter made.
Yeah.
Not required.
Right. So, like, if we were to rewire that and say, like, hey, you know, she's diabetic, then, like, you know, maybe there's a lot of pasta dishes or like carbs in the diet, then it's sort of like the understanding of like, hey, you know, maybe don't kill me, sort of thing.
That's a bad example because you can have vegan pasta dishes, but I understand your point. Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, hey, if it's like a health concern and it's sort of like, you know, I'm making no compromise whatsoever, that's a completely different story and narrative that we'd be looking at. But if it's a matter of just, hey, like, you know, I want to be vegan because of a moral compass issue, and while respectable is sort of like, hey, can you afford it at the end of the day? And, you know, like, you have to put in consideration the rest of the family.
Yeah, it's a family of 5 goblins, and one of them, the mother, it seems, is doing a second degree. Like, this is crazy. To also do all that work. But
And one of them saying, "I won't eat bugbears anymore."
what a useless creature. Also, you are all horrible people for eating bugbears.
Don't eat bugbears. They're so cute. Hello?
Bugbears aren't cute.
They're cute.
They're not cute.
The
They're
one
more
that I
bug
played
than
was
bear.
cute.
Okay. Fair.
Probably a hag. A hag
Hey,
bugbear.
hey.
Let's not stereotype bugbears into all being not cute. Maybe some of them are.
You're true. You're right. Yes, I shouldn't be racist that
I'm
way.
gonna throw in a very, very cute bugbear into our campaign. It's gonna be a lady bugbear, and it's gonna be great.
You should do it for Isabel when we have a campaign with Isabel, so she can like pet the bugbear or something.
It comes out in 4
Wait, I don't
days.
trust that. Remember what happened with the puppy? Remember the puppy!
Bringing
Hashtag!
up the puppy. What's the problem with the puppy?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I think we're all in agreement here. I feel like.
Let's go through the edits then. Ay, gosh, this blew up. I tried to answer here or there, but there's so many of you. Thank you for all contributing. She got very angry at her father and I, saying that we as parents should accommodate her food choices. That it's a moral issue and that she does not want to partake in the exploitation of animals. I mean, I feel it's a fair point if you're an adult, but not if someone is paying for and mostly making your food. I do not think this is fair to ask both in terms of money and time. Also, I have to keep in mind the interests of the other family members. Not her. Not just her. Not her especially. Yeah. That's basically what we were saying, I feel.
Yep. Okay.
She made all the food, then great.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was
But
a
it's
quick
also,
one.
I wonder if at 15 she understands the fullest extent of becoming a vegan. Because you don't get all the nutrition that you need as a vegan. You have to take supplementary pills and vitamins. And that's something that's not usually highlighted until you do further research. So not only would it be creating a separate menu, it's sort of to ensure that, your daughter doesn't end up dying too.
You can go vegan without having supplements. It just requires a significant amount of certain foods. You gotta the diet is not just like, oh, let's substitute out this. Like, you gotta have a proper diet to make it work. But like, you can definitely get very, very healthy vegans without too much on the supplement side.
Fair, but
It
that's
just requires
another
cleverness.
thing. Like, hey, if you're gonna
It's
have to
research
create
and
an
everything.
entire separate menu for that, do you even have the
Yep.
materials to do it?
It's being a proper vegan is not just simply swapping things out. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
What you need to be is a vegan like in The Simpsons, where you don't eat anything that cast. You're a level 7 vegan, and I don't eat anything that casts a shadow. That's the real veganism.
What? Plants cast shadows? What the heck?
So, when I was a kid, I believed this is how veganism worked. Because of The Simpsons, which is basically how I believed anything worked.
Oh,
Also,
dear.
the one where they have the bag of orange this size, and they like put it through the juicer and get this much orange. I think, wow, I got this much orange from all that. I was like, I believe that's how much orange you got from a juicer because of The Simpsons. But also, there was the whole thing where like, I'm a level 7 vegan or whatever, and I don't eat anything that casts a shadow. It's a brilliant line, but I believed everything that show taught me.
Damn.
I don't know what is real and what is not real now because of that.
It'll take years, maybe decades to fix.
It has. Some things I realized years and years later. Like the one time that someone told me that gullible was taken out of the dictionary, and I found out 2 years later that that was a joke.
No, I heard about that too, and I believed it. Not from Simpsons though. It was a
No,
joke.
it's just someone just told me, "Oh, gullible's been taken out of the dictionary." Oh, really? Wow, interesting, cool.
That was the joke. See if you
I know that is the joke. It took me 2 years to find out, though.
Yeah.
You and I are much alike, Billy.
Not that alike. It didn't take me 2 years.
Wow. Okay, fine.
Took me like maybe 5 seconds. I'm like, oh, that was a joke. Because I'm
What?
gullible. I get it.
You know how I am at solving puzzles.
Anyways,
Anyway,
okay.
not the asshole. All right. I think we agree. We're very overly diplomatic tonight. very much in agreement.
Apparently,
should we
there
do
are
another one?
people that think that she is the asshole,
That's
but
insane.
gently.
Also,
And
are all these posts about children and hating children and not wanting children for reasons?
Well,
Are we in
okay,
the
so
right
one of them is
subreddit?
yes, you're the asshole. It's teaching time. Best do it and support your daughter, then avoid it and she resents you. So on a Saturday, teaching her how to cook her own meals. Vegan food is easy to do cheaply. Buy dry tofu and beans for dry beans boiled. Okay, you're giving her a full recipe. Got you. If you want to try teaching her to cook for herself in a few days spent before looking up some basic recipe. Okay, so this person is trying to make the comment that being a vegan is easy, and therefore she is the asshole for not accommodating her daughter.
Sounds like someone who doesn't have children.
Sounds like
Yes, and
someone who
someone-
doesn't know how to be a healthy vegan.
Probably also someone who doesn't have a job and trying to get a second degree.
Yeah.
Like this,
Yep.
she's taking care of 5 kids. She works and she's trying to get a second
Oh.
degree.
Three kids, but still they're goblins, so it's
Wait,
even
was it
harder.
3 kids? I thought it was
Yeah.
5. Okay.
There's 5 of them. Family of 5.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yes. Do we have time for another one, or do you want to?
I think we can do one more.
Pontifical says, I don't think it's possible to be a vegan because of health reasons. Yeah, I think we spoke about that.
Yeah, he
one
said that
earlier.
a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
he
haven't
said that a
been, we
while
haven't we haven't been ignoring you, Pontifical. I actually thought that Isabel picked up on that and then said all the stuff because of it.
Well,
No,
partially.
you overestimate Isabel.
Hey. You know, I have an outline here that I would like to share with you later. Bill's alive. Anyways.
Sure.
That sounds like a threat.
An outline. Why is an outline threatening?
I don't know.
Not
I don't
sure.
know what an outline is, but I feel it's a threat. Are we doing one more?
Yeah, we can do one more.
What one are we doing?
The
Time
next one on the
to
list.
bring out the dice.
Oh, we're doing the
Or maybe
dice? Okay, let's
I
do
don't
the
know.
dice.
Up to you.
Do we have a list there? I don't think we have a list there. We have a list on our thing. I thought that one was am I the asshole for refusing to cook for my eldest, but it was to cook the vegan one. Just ignore the oldest kid and see if they starve.
Just ignore the keywords.
Yeah. Oh my god, am I the asshole for not letting kids play in our yard anymore? Am I the asshole for letting my husband yelling at my husband and leaving him? What the heck? Am I the asshole for lying about my wife having fertility? Very strangely written line. Am I the
Taking a
asshole for
roll.
being mad at my sister and ignoring her? Am I the asshole for uninviting my parents to my wedding? There are 5 of them. Do you want to roll dice?
Do it.
All right. I don't want to regret lifting this off. So I'm gonna roll this dice. Watch. So we got 1 to 10, whatever, and it's like 1, 2, every 2, whatever. 8, which will be the 4th one. I don't know if you can see that.
Wait, I thought 9-0.
9 and
Oh,
0
okay, yes,
are
yes,
the 5th
okay.
one.
Yes, okay. So this is being mad at my sister and ignoring thing.
Yes, being mad at my sister and ignoring her. Huh.
Not enough info, says people.
For the
Okay.
asshole thing, or
Oh,
just
wow.
in general? Should we just not do this one then?
Well, wouldn't it be interesting? Because if it means there's like it's more controversial or something, right? People, I don't know. Up to you. We can do another one.
It's a short one. Am I the asshole for being mad at my sister and ignoring her after she asked me for money to babysit my son? My MIL, mother-in-law, became really sick recently and was in the hospital because of COVID. My husband and I wanted to fly out there to be with her for a couple of days and needed someone to watch our son. We asked my sister since she lives nearby, and she said that she would do it for $15 an hour. And she said that she was going to charge all 24 hours in the day. Lol. That just didn't sit right with us, and we decided to leave him at our neighbor's house instead. Their son and my son are playmates in the same grade. My sister followed up with us and said that she was hurt because she was looking forward to spending some time with him, and that she was just asking for fair compensation, and that she'd be willing to come down to $150 a day. I told her that my neighbor was a better person than she because she wasn't trying to price gouge me for babysitting money while my mother-in-law was at the hospital, possibly dying from COVID. I've refused to talk to her because I could never imagine charging my family member money to help them out in their time of need. My mother says she was in the wrong, but I should just try to make peace with her over it. But I'm still pissed and just don't want to talk to her about it. Am I the asshole?
No.
No?
Also, no.
Okay.
I mean,
in the sense
mean-
where, like, maybe if her sister is struggling for money and that's like her last resort, like, even
No, she
but
could-
even then,
no.
it's still kind of like
it's the way and the reason. Like, I am all for people getting fair compensation for like things. Like, I believe if you do a job, you get paid for it. It's not like free stuff and all. But at the same time, you're watching your nephew for, like, the reason behind it is crazily different.
The other thing is, like, she might be an asshole for saying, I want you to look after my son, but I won't pay you for it. But she didn't do that. She's like, okay, I have to pay you. Never mind. I'll just give it to my neighbor.
Yeah. So, and then to go one step further, and or the sister does anyway, and says, I was really looking forward to spending time with him. Like, oh, you were looking forward with spending time with my son. Yes.
You should be like, you know what? I'm gonna rent my son out to you for like $15 an hour.
Yeah.
Since you like spending time with him so much.
A lot of parents
that
might
was a
take
joke.
you up on that.
That was a joke, but
there's a comment here that she's not wrong to say that if you want her to babysit you, then if you want her to babysit, then you can pay her as a babysitter. That's not price gouging, and if she weren't enthusiastic about spending 2 days as sole childcare, but was stepping up when she was totally within her rights to ask in advance that she would be compensated for it. You are not wrong to go with a free option since you had one available. Lucky that you did. Where she goes wrong and makes her the asshole is when she says, oh, I actually wanted to spend time with him, and twist your arm. That's ridiculous. If she was so keen on hanging out with the kiddo, then she would have volunteered free of charge, not use it as a way to get cash. So yeah, you're not the asshole, but not for the reason you think. Her not originally offering free childcare. Not even siblings are obliged to do that for each other if it doesn't make sense for them. It was a NAH.
not an asshole? What?
How do these families work? Like, this sounds like not the most dysfunctional family, but it sounds a bit dysfunctional. Also, the whole title of the post is, Am I the asshole for being mad at my sister and ignoring her after she asked for money to babysit my son? So it's, the poster is the one, we know who has the son, but she's mad at her sister because of asking for money as well. Like, this sounds like the really stupid thing. Like, I think she's a bit of an idiot for being mad at her sister.
Wait,
Doesn't
the
sound like her
sister was
like,
the one that was asking to be paid as a babysitter.
Yeah,
yes, but I understand that
yeah,
she doesn't need to be mad about that, really.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, especially if she's getting someone else. Like, their sister could have just refused, and that would have been fair.
And she did.
Like, it's the fact that I'm refusing to talk to my sister because of this ordeal is kind of a bit of an asshole kind of thing. But I don't know, I can kind of understand it. But if that's the main question, I think they're all idiots.
I mean, there was also a portion that said, hey, like, is your sister having to give up work to actually take care of the kids?
Yeah.
And
Well,
that
you know,
I would
she doesn't.
understand, because it's sort of
Yeah.
like, hey, I need you to take time off to look after my kids, sort of thing. And this might be more of a race thing, in the sense where, like, I can't imagine asking my family for money for having to look after their kids if I'm free.
It's not a risk thing, I don't think. I'm as white as you can get, and I don't
Well,
understand
like, that's what
that
I
as being
mean.
a-
Like, it's sort of like I've had some different friends who would think otherwise, right? And it's more of like
I think it's more a cultural thing than a racial thing.
racial cultural, yeah. 2 and 2.
I wonder how much background information there wasn't shared about this.
Probably a lot, because it seems like a lot of people are asking additional questions for it.
Yeah, there's like stuff on like, you know, if you got to take days off and about salary and cost on that there, you know, how much does it cost for a couple of days off kind of thing.
And the behavior of her children and whether they're poorly behaved or not. It's like,
That's true.
then don't say you want to spend time with your nephew. If it's like, I think that one was kind of like easy to just like debunk. Like realistically speaking, it's like, hey, if you had a poorly behaved nephew, like sure, I'll spend 2 hours, but that's my limit. You wouldn't want to spend more than like too much time if you can't handle it.
Also, like, how far does the sister live from them, right? Like, if it's really far, you know, could play a factor as well. Like, you have a neighbor who's happy to look after your kid. Just do that for free.
I think the part that I take issue with was like the gaslighting at the very end.
Yeah. I also don't think she needs to get mad at her sister, though, for asking for money. Maybe I would get mad for her saying, oh, I was hurt, that, you know, blah, 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 but not the fact that she asked for money.
Yeah. I wonder if it's because the original poster saw it as her sister making up excuses to not help out during a troublesome time. And is just making excuses with money, perhaps, or whatever reason. But again, if the focus is specifically on the money, then it's sort of like,
I don't think it's an excuse, because it sounded like the sister does want to, you know, get the money. So it's not like she doesn't want to do the babysitting and using it as an excuse. She just wants to get a little bit out of it, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the reason why is like, because I'm trying to understand it from like the original poster's perspective. And there was the mention of like, and she starts off by saying, hey, my mother-in-law is sick, right? So I need to go to the hospital to take care, or whatever the reason for it, to fly out there for a couple of days. And it would be both her and her husband to do so. So
I mean, yeah, I mean,
I guess under those pretenses, it's sort of like, you know, family is in need, and now like, if you don't want to do it, just tell me you don't want to do it, instead of like saying you want to get paid for it. And that's where I'm thinking, right? Like maybe there's an older mindset or a more traditional mindset to that.
But it's not the same. It's not. She didn't say I don't want to take care of your kid. She's like, I'm okay with taking care of your kid. I just want to make sure I get paid for it, right? Which is completely different.
I get that, but I mean, like, imagine saying that to your aunt or uncle.
But then if I say to my aunt or uncle, that means I'm taking care of my cousins.
Yes. Okay, so like in the effect of technically asking your elder for money when they already have a pressing issue in mind, I think it could be miscommunicated, especially in that sense where it's sort of like price gouging, as she mentions. Like, why are you asking for conditions? And even though realistically, if you were to put that into like a Western mindset, that's still sort of like, hey, I mean, technically you should be paid equally for, you know, the work that you perform. But at the end of the day, like, some people might have a different response to that, because it's family.
So are you saying that the sister is an asshole for asking for money?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it might be misconstrued in that way. Like, I think there might be, like, if you were bringing culture into it, then it's, and someone who has a more traditional mindset versus a more Western mindset, that could come into play as well.
This reminds me of the tracking device we were talking about before. And how culture plays a role in it.
Yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, there's a lot of things you realize you do just because of culture and what is considered expectation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, were you gonna say something, Emina?
No, my brain is kind of like being fried at the minute with very loud music that I can't turn off because I'm ready to hit the go live button and all my hotkeys are a mess.
All right,
So I've
let's
got
do
my
it.
music in my head.
Let's move to divinity, guys.
Are we signing off somehow, or
Yeah, we can sign off. That
So what's the
is
consensus? Not an asshole, right?
not enough information. I would like to
Okay,
know
sure.
more. I
I
agree
would
with
say
the
not an
post.
asshole. Oh, sorry. I would say not an asshole for not hiring the sister, but an asshole. Maybe not so much an asshole, but you know, she doesn't have to get mad at her sister for asking for money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that
I
was
agree.
just the general focus, especially since that being the headline, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, and
Cool.
Eminar, what do you think?
I don't think she's an asshole. I think it comes down to culture stuff again, and maybe they're a weird family who do everything for each other for money.
Oh, maybe.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's not something I'm saying is wrong or anything, but maybe that they do have a very much monetary, centered kind of family lifestyle,
True.
and this shouldn't be surprising. And it's just like, oh, it's fine for this situation, but not this situation, kind of thing, you know.
Fair.
I mean, it sounds like she's incredibly petty as a poster. I would say that she's a bit of an asshole for being so petty, and yes, for being mad at her sister in this situation. Like, and not talking to her. Like, you can be mad for a little bit, I guess, but like, why are you not talking to your sister about this? This is stupid.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Cool.
All right.
Let's switch over to Divinity. Yay.
Yeah.
So
I have started streaming.
perfect.
So
So that
all-
rounds out the Am I the Asshole segment for today, and we'll be moving to Divinity on Eminar's channel. See you there, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, sorry, I'm listening to music on my channel.
Nice.